and shudder from the sound. The death machine ain't slowing down, it's gaining pound for pound. A gas mask is the couture in the summer of rage. They're building mass graves within the states. You and I, they'll vaccinate. They're preparing us for an all-out police state. Little child, your world is going wild. Can't trust nothing but the love in your mama's eyes. Little child, salvation's in your smile. Just wish I could be alive to see the whole river rise.
I am in my apartment, sir.
Go back inside right now!
I am inside. This is my door. I'm standing right inside my apartment. Sir, I'm inside my apartment.
Our only weapon's total defiance. Let our love for our neighbors guide us. Speak loud when they try to silence. Withhold when they try to fight us. Little child, your world is going wild. Can't trust nothing but the love in your mama's eyes. Little child, salvation's in your smile. Just wish I could be alive to see that holy river rise. Little child, your world is running wild. Can't trust nothing but the love in your mama's eyes. Little child, salvation's in your smile. Just wish I could be alive to see that holy river rise.
Is this global governance at last? Is it one world, the central bankers in charge? Aren't we all just living and dying for what the central banks do?
To answer your question, we are absolutely slaves to central banks.
Transform the United States into an enslaved unit of the United Nations.
are dropping bombs on crowded cities at night where old people and children are sleeping. And we're watching it on CNN. And the only voice that's spoken up at all in this campaign about this is Ron Paul. Why are we so interventionist, he wants to know? What are we doing with all these wars? How are we safer? These are very common sense observations, and no other candidate can possibly speak those words. It would be, they believe, politically fatal.
Of course they don't want war. They are peace-loving men.
But the New York Times report that the Iraqi people want the war.
Are they really? Are they insane? Are they insane? Who wants war? For God's sake, who wants war? Just Mr. Bush wants the war and Mr. Tony Blair. I don't know why.
I don't agree this war. I am from Iraq. العراقيين مسالمين. العراقيين كلهم ضد العراق.
لا نريد الحرب، ندعى السلام.
لا احنا لا نريد الحرب، احنا شعب مسالم.
لا بالعكس العراق يحب السلم دائما.
واحنا شعب مسالم ونحب السلام.
Actually, we hate war and we don't want war about our country.
No, nobody wants war.
We don't want to be bombed. We don't want to be bombed. We do not want war. We are against the war. We are against U.S. intervention in our internal affairs. I represent the BBC Arabic and the Spanish news agency.
So New York Times is lying.
Well, of course.
They say that the Iraqi people want war because you're supposed to wait the American soldiers as liberators, as in Italy in the...
Liberate us from what?
They suppose.
What?
صحتهم كذب تغطية إعلامية بحيث يعني يضربونا.
I think they are liars and they want to give reward and pretext to attack Iraq.
والله احنا نقول للشعب الامريكي كافي، يعني شعوب العالم كلها بدأت تكرهها لانه ظلمت هوايه شعوب مثل افغانستان وغير افغانستان.
الشعب الامريكي خالص بس
الحكومه الامريكيه طبعا الحكومه الامريكيه احنا نقولها كافي بعد، لانه الشعوب كلها تأثر.
الشعب العراقي تحمل جورب وايد من الولايات المتحده الامريكيه، وهاي صارت سنه 12 سنه، علما انه يعرفون هم يعني موقعين من خلال لجان التفتيش ومن خلال غيرها، يعرفون واقع العراق مجرد من الاسلحه.
شعب مسالم يريد الخير للعالم اجمع، ولا يريد ما تقوله الصحف والحكومات الامريكيه التهديدات التي لا تبالي الى شعوب العالم. نعيش حياتنا اجتماعيه بكل سعاده، ولا نريد الحرب، نحن نريد السلام مع شعوب العالم. احنا كشعب يعني عراقي يعني ما عندنا عداوه للشعب الامريكي.
نحن نحب الشعب الامريكي، شعب عراقي، احنا ما لنا يعني عداوه ويا اي بلد كان، احنا نريد السلم.
We are friends with the Americans. We don't want any war with them. We're just talking about the government, their government. Okay?
The government of Bush is not good.
Are you scared at all about the impending war?
Yes, of course. It is war. Of course we are scared. We are living here in our country. We have children, we have old women and old men. All of them scared of war, of course.
Are you scared at all of the war to come? تخاف من الحرب إذا حصلت؟ Yes, I am afraid. And how old are you? قد عمرك؟ 10 years. 10 years.
We live in peace and we want peace, just peace.
We want freedom and eating and peace. We want the peace. Only peace.
We know they have weapons of mass destruction. We know they have active programs. There isn't any debate about it.
We know that Saddam Hussein has a long history with terrorism.
We have facts, not speculations.
And we've been careful about what we've said, and what we've said has been exactly accurate.
We know what the fermenters look like. We know what the tanks, pumps, compressors, and other parts look like. We know how they fit together. We know how they work.
There's no doubt in my mind he wants to have a nuclear weapon, and he's got some capacity.
Sir, I think we will find caches of weapons of mass destruction. Absolutely.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein now has weapons of mass destruction. There is no doubt that he is amassing them to use against our friends, against our allies, and against us.
But there's no doubt his hatred is mainly directed at us. There's no doubt he can't stand us.
There is no doubt that Saddam Hussein's regime is a danger.
The United States knows that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. The UK knows that they have weapons of mass destruction. Any country on the face of the earth with an active intelligence program knows that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction.
I will promise you this, that if we have not gotten our troops out by the time I am president, it is the first thing I will do. I will get our troops home. We will bring an end to this war. You can take that to the bank.
Well, President Obama has ordered 17,000 more American troops to Afghanistan. It's the first stage of a build-up that will eventually see 60,000 U.S. troops deployed to the country.
The U.S. president has revealed his plan for Afghanistan, escalating the war at the fastest possible pace.
It is in our vital national interest to send an additional 30,000 U.S. troops.
We are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy.
When I was in Iraq, I saw the devastation that our invasion and occupation had met out upon the Iraqi people. I saw and at times participated in the dehumanization and degradation of the Iraqi people. By robbing others of their inherent dignity, by denying them respect, and by treating them as the less than human other, we ultimately robbed ourselves of our own dignity, humanity, and compassion.
You roll into Baghdad, every single big apartment building is blown up. Every single apartment building in Baghdad has been broken to the ground by artillery and airplanes bombing. You cannot meet someone in Iraq who has not lost a family member. Could you imagine what we had done in America if in 9/11 everybody in America lost a family member? What would we be doing? Would we be talking about war? No, we'd be in the streets with weapons. And so people talk about, oh, these people killing American soldiers in Iraq, they're terrorists. Not terrorists, they're wearing sandals. And they got an AK. And they got 14-year-old boys building bombs to kill these American soldiers because we killed their family. People just don't wake up and want to go kill people.
I was ordered multiple times by commissioned officers and non-commissioned officers to shoot unarmed civilians if their presence made me feel uncomfortable. The primary loyalty is not to democracy or to the flag or to America or to the Iraqi people or to the rule of law. It is to each other's safety at the expense of everything else.
There is a cost to this war, and this cost is being paid in American blood, in my soldiers' blood, and that is not okay.
From my perspective, it didn't seem to make any sense what we did. We didn't accomplish anything.
A few months after I was there, I mean, a lot of things weren't sitting right with me. The command structure, the missions that we were getting didn't make any sense. We're going after people, Mujahideen or Muj, and they didn't have any idea which ones were the right ones. We're kicking in the wrong doors, terrifying children, helicopters screaming over their heads at night, and I'm trying to calm the women and children while the men were dragged and separated out and completely humiliated in front of their families.
9/11 was a lie, I know it. We're soldiers, we know it.
And on March 21st of 2003, my military service was hijacked in an unconstitutional order to invade the sovereign nation of Iraq. This is a slap in the face to every service member who feels used because he was told he was going to go fight for his country and then was sent to go kick in the doors of innocent people unprovoked in the middle of the night to draw fire into their house so that we might have somebody to shoot back at.
If the media was not biased, this film would be shown here so that you could then make a decision. Show them both sides of the story and then let the human being make the decision whether they want their kids there or not. Don't show me one side and say it's patriotism, it's courageous. Nothing I did in Iraq was courageous. I brought fear into people's homes. I traveled with a .50 caliber weapon every single day and slept with a pistol underneath my pillow. Tell me what is so courageous about that.
I was thinking at the time when how many civilians could have been inside there. I mean, just like any kind of conflict, there's people that are hiding inside of places that are unable to come out of these buildings out of fear that they're going to be killed by the enemy or our enemy for leaving, or out of fear that they're going to get shot in the streets, because when they do, they come out and they do get shot in the streets trying to get away. I gave the order for them to use the missiles on the building, so we hit it, and then we stormed into the building, and there was two 14, well, looked about a 14-year-old kid, a 6-year-old kid, and a young, maybe this could have been her husband, I couldn't tell because he was so messed up, and a woman that was bleeding, not severely, and all she was screaming, why, Laish, Laish, but I started to cry. I wanted to rip my hair out, what hair I did have, and go nuts.
And I tried hard to be proud of my service, but all I could feel was shame. And racism could no longer mask the reality of the occupation. These were people, these were human beings. I've since been plagued by guilt anytime I see an elderly man, like the one who couldn't walk, who we rolled onto his stretcher and told the Iraqi police to take him away. I feel guilt anytime I see a mother with her children, like the one who cried hysterically and screamed that we are worse than Saddam as we forced her from her home. I feel guilt anytime I see a young girl, like the one I grabbed by the arm and dragged into the street. We were told we were fighting terrorists. The real terrorist was me, and the real terrorism is this occupation.
Funding the war is killing the troops. I mean, if you really think about it, it's really, really blatantly obvious. And it's really stupid that we have to say this. But we do. We have to get down to basics. We have to break it down Barney style, as we say.
When I joined the military, I raised my hand and said that I would protect the Constitution of the United States and its people, and against foreign and domestic enemies. But guess what? I did not raise my hand to protect private companies like KBR and put my life on the line so they can make a buck. When are we going to realize that people fighting in Iraq against us, they're not terrorists, they're soldiers? What would we do if somebody invaded us? I know I will pick up my weapon and fight against them. What the hell we call them? Terrorists? These people want their country back. Let's give them their country back.
I won't even talk to politicians about the war, because there ain't no point in it. Democrat, Republican, they're all profiteers of war. Even lots of anti-war organizations are profiting off my brother's pain.
I'm embarrassed at the state of politics in America that it's come to that. We have to talk to Congress like they're fucking children.
We've got a responsibility to the honor of this country and to the honor of every man and woman who has served in Iraq and ever served in our military to not leave them with anything less than the honor that they deserve.
Honor? Are you kidding me? You saying that it's an honor to die in Iraq and to fight a war that we started and we're in the wrong? You're going to tell me that it's an honor to serve in Iraq when private contractors get paid $100,000 plus and drive $60,000 vehicles inside the base while soldiers are outside the base rolling and patrolling and losing their lives? Is that honor? Are you kidding me?
Those who send us to war do not have to pull a trigger or lob a mortar round. They do not have to fight the war, they merely have to sell the war. They need a public who is willing to send their soldiers into harm's way. They need soldiers who are willing to kill and be killed without question. They can spend millions on a single bomb, but that bomb only becomes a weapon when the ranks in the military are willing to follow orders to use it. They can send every last soldier anywhere on earth, but there will only be a war if soldiers are willing to fight. And the ruling class, the billionaires who profit from human suffering, care only about expanding their wealth, controlling the world economy, understand that their power lies only in their ability to convince us that war, oppression, and exploitation is in our interest.
Our freedom comes from ourselves. When we make the decision to speak our mind.
This is well within the rights that service members have, but not very many service members know that they have.
As soon as I got out of the military, I joined an organization called Iraq Veterans Against the War, which aside from calling for full immediate withdrawal of all U.S. forces from Iraq, also calls for full support and benefits for returning veterans.
We have members across the country and overseas, in Germany and Iraq. Less than 4 years ago, there were 7 of us, and today there are over 1,200. Our membership has more than doubled in the past year and is continuing to grow.
So we do have a resistance movement. We do have dissent within the ranks. It's happening for each one of us who goes public. There's probably 100, who are resisting quietly.
Let's be brutally honest. Our leaders aren't going to end the occupation. It's going to be us that ends the occupation. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think as a 24-year-old kid I should go to jail for not wanting to kill people.
I had a personal experience after one of the talks that I did with a man. He came up to me after that, and he told me he was an Iraqi man. And he said that he was from the area around Balad, and I was stationed in Balad. And I just couldn't help it. Just all of a sudden, I hugged the guy. And I said that I was sorry. That I was so sorry. And I ended up crying right there to this perfect stranger. And he told me it was okay. He told me it was okay. And that was redemption.
To me, it's this phenomenon that we're witnessing is actually a natural evolution. And any time you organize human beings to come together to use violence as a way of conflict resolution, you will have a breakdown of that organization. Peace is not a political process, and it's certainly not a militaristic process.
I refuse to participate in the Iraq occupation.
The real enemies are not in some distant land. They're not people whose names we don't know and cultures we don't understand. The enemy is people we know very well and people we can identify. The enemy is a system that wages war when it's profitable. The enemy is the CEOs who lay us off from our jobs when it's profitable. It's the insurance companies who deny us health care when it's profitable. It's the banks who take away our homes when it's profitable. Our enemy is not 5,000 miles away. They are right here at home. And if we organize and fight with our sisters and brothers, we can stop this war, we can stop this government, and we can create a better world.
There's a term, once a Marine, always a Marine.
but there's also the term eat the apple, F the core. I don't work for you no more.
This society is so greedy, we're willing to go to war. We're willing to go places and send these big metal machines that kill people and fuck people up just so we can make more money. I mean, I've heard it argued, and argued successfully, that our society runs on war. You know, it runs on the domination of the other parts of the world. And literally, that's the only way you can control a gigantic chunk of the globe. You have to keep everybody down. You know, and that's what our society is based on as far as our globalization, you know, schematic that's been laid out by all these Republicans and all these Democrats and all these people that, you know, are pretending to be our leaders and pretending to look for. None of these people have had these experiences. None of these people feel connected to everybody. They're still, even the best ones are still operating within a very old framework. And a framework that's set up by ignorance. It's a foolish framework. The idea that it should be okay to go somewhere and engage in war to protect a society that wants to go places and engage in war. That's insane. That's insane. Because you're saying, I mean, that's automatically saying that the lives of the people here are worth more than the lives of the people everywhere else. And they're all one thing. They're all exactly the same.
The whole system that we live in drills into us that we're powerless, that we're weak, that our society is evil, that it's crime-ridden, etc., and so forth. It's all a big fat lie. We are powerful, beautiful, extraordinary. There is no reason why we cannot understand who we truly are, where we are going. There is no reason why the average individual cannot be fully empowered. We are incredibly powerful beings.
You know, I think I spent 30 years of my life, in the first 30, trying to become something. I wanted to become good at things. I wanted to become good at tennis. I wanted to become good at school and grades and everything I kind of viewed in that perspective. I'm not okay the way I am, but if I got good at things, you realize that I had the game wrong. The game was to find out what I already was. Find out what I already was.
Now, in our culture, we've been trained for individual differences to stand out. So you look at each person, immediately it is brighter, dumber, older, younger, richer, poorer, and we make all these dimensional distinctions, put them in categories and treat them that way. And we get so that we only see others as separate from ourselves in the ways in which they're separate. And one of the dramatic characteristics of experience is being with another person and suddenly seeing the ways in which they are like you, not different from you. And experiencing the fact that which is essence in you and which is essence in me is indeed one. The understanding that there is no other. It is all one. And I wasn't born Richard Alpert, I was just born as a human being. And then I learned this whole business of who I am and whether I'm good or bad or achieving or not. All that's learned along the way.
Racial, sexual, and religious chauvinism, to rabid nationalist fervor, are beginning not to work. A new consciousness is developing which sees the earth as a single organism and recognizes that an organism at war with itself is doomed.
finish his shows with this. Life's like a ride in an amusement park. And when you go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are. And the ride goes up and down and round and round. It has thrills and chills, and it's very brightly colored. And it's very loud, and it's fun for a while. Some have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride. And we kill those people. Shut him up, I've got a lot invested in this ride. Shut him up! Look at my furrows of worry. Look at my big bank account and my family. This has to be real. It's just a ride. But we'll kill those good guys who try and tell us that. You ever notice that? And let the demons run amok? But it doesn't matter, because it's just a ride, and we can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money. Just a choice right now between fear and love.
We will expose the New World Order. We will expose the global crime syndicate. To David Rockefeller, to the Rothschild representatives here, to the Queen of the Netherlands, to all of you, we tell you, you are not our queens, you are not our kings, you are not our gods. We do not belong to you. We are not your slaves. We stand as free humans, have stood since the beginning of time against the strong men, against the thugs, against the bullies. We are here telling you we will resist the New World Order. We will defeat your world government. Liberty will prevail. Tyranny will fall. The answer to 1984 is 1776.
The 21st century is going to be a new century. Not the century of slavery, not the century of lies, issues of no significance, and classism, statism, and all the rest of the modes of control. It's going to be the age of humankind standing up for something pure and something right. The truth is out there in front of you, but they lay out this buffet of lies. I'm sick of it, and I'm not going to take a bite out of it. Do you got me?